DeFi panel, Path to Mass Adoption.
Hello. So, a very good morning to everyone. 90% of the audience sitting here, I assume, have crossed that journey and have listened to this statement, oh, blockchain and Bitcoin is a scam. You know, there's no fundamental value to it. And look at us. Look at this crowdless, amazing crowd sitting today who has listened to that statement of Bitcoin is a scam and who is attending this panel discussion on path to mass adoption. I mean, this is a paradigm shift that we have been all hustling about, and all thanks to God and everyone's efforts in this room, in this arena, and everyone who has been contributing to the blockchain ecosystem, that we are now standing at this stage, sitting on this stage and discussing this topic. I was crossing the arena, I was looking at different projects. All of them have just one value that they're pitching and they're talking about, how they are reaching to the masses. Because we all know that what role a mass can play in bringing a technology, a product to realization. And with this, I think I am Rishabh, I'm from TD5, and I would like to introduce the panel today. The TD5 panel, as we always do, path to mass adoption, that's our vision. As an incubator, we have always focused on incubating projects that have a vision to bring a crypto adoption to the masses, to bring blockchain technology to a real use case. I would like to invite all the speakers, all the honorable speakers, to introduce themselves and tell us about how your project is bringing mass adoption of crypto. Let's start with the lead in the room, Kimberly Adams from Bridge Network.
Hello. Thank you, Rishabh. It's great to be here again. In the past 1 month, I've been here like 2 times, but I love Dubai and it's been great. So what we're building at Bridge Network is essentially a cross-chain super dApp. And what that means is, if you think about all of the different transaction types you might need to do to move cross-chain, whether that's moving your NFTs, moving your tokens, swapping cross-chain, all of that can now be done in one seamless interface. And we're talking about mass adoption. What we're doing is essentially extrapolating the complexities that exist in blockchain. And we're solving a problem that blockchain has actually created, which is one blockchain cannot seamlessly speak to another blockchain. So with Bridge Network, we're building bridges to essentially bridge that gap. And actually, we do have I don't want to hog the mic, but we do have a booth, and I'm happy to dive further in.
Hi, this is Emrah from Voltan. I'm the founder and CEO. And what we are building on Voltan is basically we are connecting the games industry in one digital network that combining all the digital distribution infrastructures in one platform. And what I'm meaning by that is basically a digital supply chain infrastructure that is designed only for the digital assets. And now we are talking about game licenses, top-up cards, etc. But eventually it will be NFTs and connecting Web 2 to Web 3 and being the bridge between the old traditional market to the new. And bringing crypto question is that I'm coming from the games industry and we have very big firms. We have giants of the industry, and those companies doesn't have at all a crypto adoption at the moment. And we are looking forward to evolve them to this new paradigm that is coming and make them also slowly adopt the crypto assets. They started slowly with NFTs, and I believe that one day they will be also adopting slowly, maybe launching their own cryptos, etc. And we would be probably the pioneers of that. Thank you.
Hello, this is Gautam, founder and CEO of Edwards. What we are doing at Edwards is we are actually democratizing and decentralizing education. And as you know, all of us are here just because we're educated in some way or other, and some of them. So that's what we are doing. We are touching everyone's life through this education metaverse that we're bringing in. what about the mass adoption that Rishabh mentioned? See, mass adoption, I don't think that any metaverse can have a target market of more than 1 billion users, which is across the world, more than 1 billion learners actually, and more than 100 million teachers and educators. So, I mean, education can have large impact and can certainly impact the ecosystem and will onboard a lot of people on this crypto and the blockchain mass adoption, and that's what the goal for us is right now.
Thank you so much. So I will try to be brief because we're pitching our startup today. So I'm Hussein, founder of Cross, and we at Cross have embarked on a journey to build the advertising infrastructure of the metaverse. While Goldman Sachs see this market reaching a meteoric growth to reach $8 trillion, and Morgan Stanley argues that this only will be China's metaverse market size, yet everyone agrees that advertising and commerce will be the main drivers to fuel this growth. But till this moment, the metaverses does not have the infrastructure or the standards for advertising or cross-org collaboration. So similarly to what Facebook and Google have done to Web 2.0, Cross is building the infrastructure of the metaverse, enabling communities to earn from advertising and unlocking new heights to the play-to-earn economy, connecting metaverses with advertisers in an intuitive and automated process. Our team is leadership from Google and Microsoft and other top organizations with a view to build the metaverse better, faster, and safer. Thank you.
So, having billions of learners, then solving a multi-chain problem. You go out today and you see, there is X chain, Y chain, Z chain, A chain, B chain, and then you see, okay, what is going to bring them together? That's another use case for adoption. Then we talk about billions of dollars of assets being lost just because there is no transparency in the ecosystem. That's what Vault Network is solving. That's my understanding of what you guys have been doing. Please tell us about what value does blockchain play in your product. Let's start with Hussein.
It's the backbone of the whole system. So right now, one of the biggest problems in the games industry is that you cannot trace and track a single digital asset. So the IP creators, publishers, when they release the game and then put it into the market, they don't have any control until the end user activates it. And probably traditionally you have minimum 4 or 5 different distributors or like different platforms until the key is actually being activated. And publisher doesn't have any idea where those keys end up until the end user activates it. So blockchain is actually bringing the clarity and the opportunity to trace and track this whole process and make it efficient and feed back to the publisher what's actually going on with those assets actually. And this actually came up around 2016, 2017 when I was trying to understand the blockchain technology very deeply. And it was solving the basic problem of the industry that is fueling billion-dollar gray market and billion-dollar fraud in the whole digital markets at the moment.
Well, as I said earlier, like Rishabh said, there's X blockchain, Y blockchain, and so blockchain itself has created a technical limitation whereby one blockchain cannot seamlessly speak to the other. So we're fixing a problem that blockchain created. And the unique thing is that we're also solving the builder's dilemma. And the builder's dilemma is basically when a developer is deciding what blockchain should I build my project on, they're either thinking, do I want to build it on the most decentralized blockchain? Do I want to build it on the blockchain with the highest number of users or that processes transactions faster? We no longer have to deal with that dilemma at this point because Bridge Network has actually introduced the tools not only for users, but for builders themselves. So let's take, for example, Rashab, right? Let's assume you launched a token on Ethereum and you want to continue to build on Ethereum and benefit from the security of Ethereum, but your community is, maybe they want it on Avalanche or Solana or something like that. As opposed to having to spend months trying to build your own bridge or reaching out to an existing bridge to ask them to integrate your token so now your community has access to your asset on a different chain, you can now come to someone like Bridge Network and in under 30 seconds, your asset is now available on as many networks as you want. And as I said earlier, this is really solving the builder's dilemma. And so, all of your projects, you're no longer limited by this technical limitation that blockchain has created. And our motto that we say is to remove barriers and connect communities.
Thanks.
Okay. So let's imagine a world wherein, you have to authenticate the learning skills and the learning standards of a certain learner. Suppose 5 years down the line, a corporate wants to hire from certain college or certain place. So that's what is happening right now. But what if this metaverse changes brings in a paradigm shift, through which the blockchain is used to store the data of the learning, how a learner has learned through a certain courses and what kind of skills have that learner instilled in himself or herself by that time. So all that map and all that progression is available on the blockchain at that time. So the merit that it will bring to the recruiters will be really immense. And that's what we're trying to do with this, that this becomes the place for recruitment maybe 5 or 6 years down the line when millions and millions of learners will be using this and their history will be available in a very authenticated manner through blockchain. That's the key use of blockchain in this education metaverse.
So we have said that we are building the infrastructure of advertising for metaverses, and we're connecting metaverses with advertisers. But what we are and how we do it, so Cross at heart is an innovative cross-org collaboration platform using blockchain smart contracts, where we empower metaverses to execute business value chains with all their partners in full traceability and in trust tamper-proof manner, using the blockchain design as its compliance by nature. Thank you so much.
That's
No, I actually had a question for you, Rashab, because I know you guys, TD5, you work with a lot of projects, and on the topic of mass adoption, working with all of us, I guess, what is the common denominator that makes us one of those projects that you believe will onboard the next 1 billion users? I'm sorry to throw you on this.
No, that's actually a beautiful question, and just to let the audience know, this was not planned. This is not scripted. This is actually that was my next question as well, and that's good that I'll set the context as well. As TD5, we have been investing in the space for the last 10 years. Before blockchain, we were investing in the technology space back in India, and then now we have been investing in blockchain for almost last 7 years. One common thing that we have understood and we identified while investing and while incubating is that it's not about the product. It's really not about the product. It's really not about what problem you're solving. Obviously, it matters, but it's not as much as the strength of the founder and the team, the vision of the team that is building that project matters. Right? So what we see when we are looking at the projects and evaluating these applications is whether the founder has the understanding and the vision to take crypto to the masses, whether the product to some extent has the product market fit that will take it to the real use case of a daily transactions, not only in terms of financial transactions, but look at the use case, right? I mean, we have more than 1 billion users. We have more than hundreds of metaverses. How do brands integrate to them? That's a simple problem. Why would brands build their own metaverse? There comes cross-network in asking all the brands, you don't have to build anything. You just have to put your application, put up your request of what you want to publish, what sort of ad you want to publish, and we are here to solve a problem. You talk about billions of dollars being lost in the publishing market of games just because there is no proper transparent ecosystem. And that's a simple problem, but having billions of dollars and millions of users. And that's a simple problem, but the vision was so amazing. The team had the strength, so that's the idea, that's the whole concept behind TD5 as an incubator. I mean, yeah, a lot of blockchain talks, a lot of crypto talks. Let's ease out the environment a little. Tell us about yourself. One important thing that I have learned after seeing the lives of more than 150 entrepreneurs in my experience in blockchain, it takes a lot. It really takes a lot to step out of that comfort zone of being in a traditional industry where no one is questioning you every day. As an entrepreneur in blockchain, you're not only being questioned about whether your product will be successful or not, but you always have uncertainties revolving around yourself. You know, what's news is coming out. They said it will be banned. They said it won't be banned. All of these problems are encircling you and troubling you. Tell us about you as founders. Tell us about your story, what inspired you to be in blockchain, and also add to the answer, what would you be doing if not blockchain?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. I have only ever worked in blockchain. I don't know what it's like to work for another company other than a crypto company. I started when I was 16 years old. I did a diploma at our local university in Barbados, and one of the assignments was to recreate Facebook. Did the assignment, pass, and then realized that I didn't use any of the materials that I paid to learn in the course. So I spent thousands of dollars learning this, but I recreated Facebook based on, you know, Khan Academy, Web3 Schools, and all of these online resources. So I quickly realized that at this point, school isn't for me. I went to YouTube, I went to Google, and I started going down the rabbit hole, learned to code and build by myself, and then I was like, crap, how do I get work? Because I don't have a proper university degree. I have no work experience. So I decided, yeah, right? So I decided, well, the only logical thing is just work for free. I mean, who's going to reject free work? So I reached out to who's actually now one of my mentors, our advisor and our investor, Gabriel Abed, who was building a crypto exchange back in the Caribbean in early 2014. I told him, hey, look, I will make all your graphics for free. At that time, I knew a little bit about graphic designing. And he was like, sure, why not? It's free work. At the same time, they just got funding, and they were like, okay, well, we need a full-time graphic designer. We'll pay you. I was making like $1,000 US a month, and I was like, oh my God, this is so much money. I was 16 years old. I was like, wow, this can actually, you know, I can actually build a life from this. So I started researching more, and I was working for this company without knowing what Bitcoin was for 6 months. And after some time, I was like, we had to make these diagrams to actually understand how the infrastructure work. And in doing so, then I was like, this is on the same line as artificial intelligence. This is the next big thing. And I made that decision from there on that I'm never, ever leaving the crypto space. And fast forward 7 years later, I'm still here. I've had the opportunity to work with some exchanges in the past and finally building my own project. But, you know, the main thing is I saw an opportunity and I saw the growth, the potential for this industry. And, you know, my mom still don't understand it, but, you know, I had conviction when I was younger. And thankfully, now everyone is kind of seeing that come to fruition. And yeah, and now I just don't take no for an answer. Like, we just raised funding, and we pitched to FTX Ventures, and initially they had actually passed on us. They were like, no, we have a competitor. So I hopped on a flight to the Bahamas, and now I'm proud to say that FTX Ventures is one of our backers. And this has really led me to where I am, just not taking no for an answer and realizing that everything can be solved with a simple Google search.
Thanks. Yeah, let's also try to wrap it
Yeah,
up.
I'm going to cut it short also because the time is also running out. But I was actually trying to be a rock star until I was 30. I was a musician, and I released an album in 2010, and I really wanted to be a musician and work in the space. But I was always like an entrepreneur and do stuff. Just around my 30s, which like late 20s, I started raising creating projects and then raise money for them. This is not my first startup. I've been working in games industry since 2015, and we pretty much built maybe 4 projects and exited 2 of them before. So for me, it's a long game, and I'm happy to be in the next chapter of the whole digital industries. Thank you.
So I'll keep it short. I'll break it into 2 parts, that why and entrepreneurship, and then why blockchain. So entrepreneurship, I mean, being worked with KPMGs and Larsons and Toubros of the world, we just decided that no, something really good for education has to be built up. Something which is socially impactful has to be built up. And that's where we dived into this education world almost like 7 years ago. A team of 150 plus people collaborated with Pearson, Google, and other global publishers like Oxford and Macmillan. Now, why blockchain? You know, while we were doing all this education, content development, and creating various courses and all, what we realized was that the importance of a community is so important here that, you know, developing any kind of content, you can't be doing it just with 100 or 1,000 people. You really need the inputs from all over the world to create all kinds of courses and learning material that has to be created. And you know, this blockchain and crypto and all, the backbone is community. It's crowdsourcing that you do, and crowdsourcing is the only thing that can create such a huge metaverse, which is actually deserved and required by something called education. Because the variety and diversity that it enables to bring in is really immense. And that's the reason why this whole blockchain was important.
Hussein.
Okay, so for myself, I've always been an entrepreneur since I was 24 years old, which was in 2005, where I opened a cloud kitchen. And back then, it was just central kitchens, and I thought, why spend money on rental spaces, which is very expensive, and just open kitchens and roll out brands, which was all owned by the same company. And you can call them by the phone, because there was no online ordering back then, where everybody, this is a crazy idea. Eventually, we sold it to a conglomerate, and then I did my master's at IE Business School to honestly have rest, because I was so burned out, so much work. And then after my MBA, I joined Rocket Internet as a founder CEO, where I helped them, among others, of course, to build internet companies from white paper to IPO. And from there, I met my 2 co-founders at Cross, where we decided to build Cross. We see that advertising is basically the biggest industry on earth, and we believe that Cross could be the next big thing for the Web3. If I wouldn't be doing blockchain now, I would be doing another futuristic innovation that would add value and help this place be a better place for everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. So yeah, that's all from the TD5 panel, although we are out of time. But if we are allowed, can we take up a questions from the audience? Okay. Is there any question from the audience? Yep.
Hi, my name is Nathaniel, CEO NENT Investment. And my first question goes to you because you started the whole conference with mass adaptation. And when it comes to blockchain and entrepreneurship, okay, so blockchain gives you the privilege to legally own, participate, and maybe across history, you will be able to trace it back to the originality or whatever on the crypto asset or digital asset or the business. But what is the main importance attached to Bitcoin and blockchain? I just want to believe Bitcoin should be like other type of cryptocurrencies, or is there any bigger thing? You said mass adoption, like maybe the masses are actually going to control this, or we're going to be having policies from the government that might affect blockchain ownership and all that. If the question is clear enough.
Can you, did you get the question?
Sorry, are you referring to the adoption of Bitcoin in this context?
Okay, he mentioned, he emphasized on mass adoption on Bitcoin. You mentioned Bitcoin specifically, and you mentioned Ethereum. Okay, so on blockchain, you have the privilege to own. You have the privilege to participate, which brings us to Web3. Is that correct? Okay, so what is the importance? Why is Bitcoin that much important that people talk so much about Bitcoin alone? Why not other cryptocurrencies or digital assets? Or why not other business ideas for entrepreneurs on blockchain? Why is it like the emphasis are mostly based on Bitcoin? Why not even Ethereum anyways?
I actually, probably you might have got it wrong. I said Bitcoin, from a Bitcoin is a scam because that was the first crypto that we saw, to talking about today where we are talking about blockchain for mass adoption. So, I mean, if it's a no-brainer that yes, when we talk about blockchain, the first thing that comes to your mind is Bitcoin. And when you talk about mass adoption, you definitely also talk about Bitcoin's mass adoption. So that goes unsaid.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, so that you won't
think-
mix it up.
Yeah,
When you say, when it comes to blockchain, the first thing that comes to your mind is Bitcoin. Was blockchain built for Bitcoin, or was Bitcoin to try out blockchain?
You're right on your part.
Let me draw a parallel to this. Actually, you know, when you talk about global economy, it's US dollar which comes to you for the first time.
Yes.
Or maybe euro or a pound.
Yes.
So that's how Bitcoin, Ethereum will continue till the time you have really large metaverses.
Okay,
who
but
have their
the
own
US government
coins.
is starting
Let's take this question off stage as well, because there is a next panel coming up. So
Okay.
let's take this off stage. Thank
Alright,
you
sure.
everyone for being with us. It was an amazing audience, and thank you so much. And thank you all the panelists for being with us.